The shooting dead of a pregnant woman by a drunken police officer in southern China has caused public outrage. The Beijing Youth Daily reported that the suspect, named as Hu Ping, is a police officer from Pingnan County in the Guangxi autonomous region. He had been assisting a group of police officers from another province who were working on a case there. The paper says that Hu took his colleagues to dinner, during which time they consumed a large amount of alcohol. At some stage, Hu, who was armed, went shirtless to a nearby noodle shop and asked for a milk tea. When the couple who owned the shop told him they didn't have any, he took out his pistol and fired several shots. One hit the male owner, Cai Shiyong, in the collarbone, but he survived. However, his pregnant wife, Ying, was hit in the head and stomach and died along with her unborn baby. Initially, police said Hu was on duty when he used his gun in a brawl. However, he's now been formally arrested and 6 local superiors have been dismissed. According to the South China Morning Post, just 2 years ago, another police officer in the region shot a colleague dead and injured passers-by, again at a lunch or a dinner. And earlier this year, a drunken off-duty police officer in Henan province threw an infant to the ground. The child survived but was quite badly injured. To find out what net users are saying about this latest incident and these other incidents, let's join our researcher Esther Deng in the newsroom. So Esther, you've been following what's being said on social networks. Can you tell us first what you're hearing about this particular case in Guangxi?
Well, as you can imagine, fierce condemnation from net users generally. Zhou Peng'an on iPhone.com says, "A scene where a pregnant woman is shot in the head sounds like something from a movie. I can't imagine the people's police could be so savage. Who is worse than a bandit? At least they usually have a reason for killing someone." And this poster, Zhu Xiaoyan on Sohu.com says, "Breaking the law while supposed to be enforcing it is absolutely unacceptable." While a poster from Beijing relates this to a previous incident you mentioned. A police threw a baby to the ground. Police kill a pregnant woman. This all leaves me speechless. And of course, several posters are appealing for retribution. And this poster, 飞去来越的不去飞, says, "Public outrage won't be quelled unless Hu is given the death sentence." Still, incredibly, there are some net users willing to find some excuse for Hu's action. Yan Di has this to say. "He must have been under huge pressure as a criminal police officer, and alcohol made him lose his mind. He's already destroyed a family, and the death penalty will destroy his family too."
Okay, understandable anger in general there, but what about the circumstances whereby drunken police officers are out there carrying guns and the supervision or lack of it that allows this to happen? What's being said about that?
Well, local police have said the reason Hu had a gun was to assist the out-of-town police to investigate a case. In response, Lao Xia says on Weibo.com, "Seeing he was performing official business is an excuse to evade responsibility for flawed management. Even then, how can that explain killing a person randomly?" And Tianshan Songbai has a more basic question. How could he be drinking while on duty? We are told that drunken driving is dangerous, while being drunken with a gun is even more dangerous. And 帝国良民 on Sina.com complained that existing regulations don't seem to be working. A 3-point discipline regulation was issued just this September, which warned police against drinking excessively and causing trouble. But the other police were reported drinking with Hu too, instead of stopping him. Well, this poster, Fu Dalin, points out there is a paradox in the public attitude towards police arms. Historically, there were tight restrictions on police carrying guns. Then the public appealed for them to be armed under more occasions in the face of more violent crime. But when something like this happens, the public voice turns again and asks for more restrictions.
Okay, sir. Have net users comments on any other aspects of this particularly senseless killing?
Well, yes. Many feel rather than just focusing on guns and alcohol, the quality of police officers has to be looked at too, as this poster on QQ.com remarks. Flawed recruitment of police contributes to such awful consequence. How could someone like Hu could be hired? This is a unique profession, and if the wrong people are loved in, the aftermath can be appalling. while a poster called Lala suggests that flawed recruitment is a widespread problem. In my hometown, I often see former strict hooligans becoming police officers. It won't surprise me if they cause trouble when they are armed. Another poster has this to add. A police recruitment and training in the U.S. has an advantage since they stress the monitoring of officers' psychological status. And 军人 has this advice. When selecting people for such jobs, there needs to be a deeper examination for their inherent character. In addition, we need to strengthen on-the-job training and performance appraisal. And Nanya 125, who himself is a police officer, says, here it's a very difficult situation from foreign countries where counseling is offered to the police. If we fail to self-adjust to pressure, it's possible to break down on the job. And finally, Master on QQ.com mentions the disparity of resources. Police in remote and poverty-stricken areas often have tough jobs and poor wages and conditions. The best ones tend to get to work in the big cities nowadays.
Thanks for that, Esther. And that was China Take researcher Esther Dong with some online reaction to the killing of a young woman, or a young pregnant woman, in her shop by an apparently drunk police officer. Next up on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines.